They turned around and they turned it into a revenge tour, dominating their competition all season long, going back down to Pitbull Stadium in FIU this year. They march in there underdogs. No one outside of the 904 expecting anything from the Vikings. They send a message. They knock off Miami Northwestern, win the state championship, their fourth in program history, and bring back a title to the 904, their first since 2018. Noah Schlicksup, Brody McGough, Marcel Robinson with you, and plenty more from the Reigns Vikings joining us throughout this Reigns State Championship special. Let's just start off with the congratulations to the Vikings. What a game, what a season for Reigns.
I mean, everything about it was awesome. It feels like it came straight out of a movie of how everything went down and how it went to the final minutes of the game, and Reigns just pulled it out in the end after trailing majority of that game as well. But they didn't bat an eye. They stayed in the game. They stayed in the fight, and it is just so impressive what they did this year, just keeping the main goal the whole season, not taking any opponent like too lightly. They took every game so serious, and they did it, man. And I think I could speak for all of the 904 to say we're happy. We're happy in 904. Duval is happy for Reigns to get the state championship. Just what a week for Reigns and the 904.
I love seeing all the videos of the watch parties, everyone's reaction online, and the whole city behind them. And it sounds like we got a parade coming up, too. The celebration's been amazing. We've got a great lineup joining us from Reigns throughout the show. At 8:18 will be Troy Butler and Jatarius Brown. At 8:30, Shareef Jackson and Tony Williams. And then at 8:45, we've got Coach Donovan, Masline, and TJ Cole. So all the Reigns Vikings joining us here today. And not enough, though, because, man, there were so many guys that contributed in that game. Wanted to get as many as we could on the show. And, Marcel, you were down there in Miami. Just talk about that game and that atmosphere.
I mean, it was everything that you wanted and more from a state championship game. Obviously, having the game down there in Miami, we knew Miami Northwestern they were gonna show up. I mean, it's practically a home game for them. But Duval County did their thing. Reigns is out there in full effect. We were just talking off air a little bit. Even though it's a Reigns state championship game, it's not just about Reigns. It's about the city of Jacksonville, and the boys went down there and handled business.
Yeah, we haven't gotten too many public school state championships here recently. I think the last one was Mandarin, or maybe it was Reigns back in 2018.
Back to back.
And, to see them do what they did this season and responding back just how that game went last year, and you saw both of these games, just the difference between this team last year and the game this season.
I mean, I think the biggest difference obviously was anybody that's a competitor. I mean, if you played in that game last year, I mean, you were going to do everything, but maybe including die on that field to make sure it didn't happen again. We talked to Maz and some of the guys throughout the year, and we knew that this was going to be the end result in terms of getting to the game and winning the game because of the experience. Obviously last year, versus Miami Northwestern, the big thing was the big plays, the explosive plays. And, they had those were early and often last season in the state championship game. But this year, by my standards of what an explosive play is, they only really had one, and that was to, Nick Lanier late in the game. But, I felt like very early on that this game was going to be very different just because of, how the boys were playing. I mean, they were controlling the line of scrimmage. They made everything difficult for Miami Northwestern throughout the game. You take away a couple of self-inflicted wounds. This game should have been 21-3 at the half, to be completely honest with you. I said on TV and I said on social media too at halftime is that you could tell that the better team was wearing maroon and that as long as they didn't beat themselves, they were going to win. That's what happened.
Yeah, and we were looking there at a clip. We got highlights from the game. Just to recap for those who didn't see it, what a game it was. You look back in that first half, and it just kept seeming like Northwestern might be able to take control of that game with some of what went down there. It seemed like they were always in the red zone on the goal line, and that defense just kept on making plays for the Vikings. They come out in the second half. They get the pick six. They get the fumble at the goal line. Then the offense, who had been shut out through the first three quarters, they come alive. They drive down. They get a field goal and back-to-back touchdowns, one driving down the field with 1:55 to play. Just an incredible back-and-forth game. How about that? We get two plays that I feel like, people are talking a lot about the pick six. They're talking about the game-winning drive. But the interception on 4th and 1 by Jatarius Brown, who we'll talk to later, and then the goal line stand, getting a 2-point conversion from the half-yard line. That was the difference. It ended up being in the game for that defensive line to stand up there at the goal line, just really incredible, Brody.
Yeah, I mean, they made so many goal line stops, and I also remember the Shareef Jackson. He popped the ball out at the goal line as well. They were just, it was the definition of a bend but don't break defense. They would, they'd get some drives together, Miami Northwestern, but Reigns just, again, never batting an eye, and they were just staying in the fight the whole game, and it was just such a slugfest. And it reminds me of that meme. It's like cinema. That was a peak cinema game. And, again, just really great performance by the whole team as a unit, but especially that defense down the stretch.
Marcel, what was it like on that sideline for you as an observer? What were you seeing during that game?
I mean, as an observer, I can only imagine what it was like, for the boys. 'Cause it was a roller coaster of emotions for all of us. One of the things I was actually just talking to my daughter about this before I left the house is that, when you spend the whole season, so much time, obviously with these guys, it's like you develop an emotional attachment to them, to the team, to the players and stuff like that. So obviously we were objectivity is out the window. At that point, it's all about Duval over date at that point.
Yeah.
So, obviously we're keeping our cheers, to ourselves because we got a job to do. But at the end of the day, man, just the emotions, like you could just feel it. When Big G got that pick, you just felt like everything switched, everything flipped, and that things were going to go in the right direction. First of all, we were all completely surprised that Northwestern decided to change their mind on fourth down and go for it as opposed to the punt. And at that point, I looked over at one of the guys next to me. I said, if they go for this and don't get this, we're definitely coming down here to win this game. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be lit in about 15 minutes. And that's exactly what happened.
And I was watching on TV. It seemed like Northwestern was panicked. And I'm not sure what the feeling was there on that sideline, but, I saw, they showed the coach, and he, hit one of his players on the helmet, and just, it seemed like it was a panic, like they didn't expect that.
Yeah,
Reigns.
Yeah. I think a little bit of that is obviously, it's a inexperienced coaching in that kind of situation. Sometimes you overcoach a little bit, right? The guys that have been there before, they understand you just bend, don't break. You don't panic. You just do what you do. Keep the main thing, the main things. All the cliches that ring true. But yeah, sometimes you just overthink it. I think that timeout they gave themselves too much time to think about it. It was kind of surprising because it's not like they were moving the ball at will the whole game. The Reigns defense was clearly the better unit on the field. And I think it's just like what you said. It's one of those instances where, as a coach, you kind of overthink yourself a little bit. I don't know if panic is the right word. I think it's just one of those overcoaching deals. And once, obviously, Reigns got the ball, then I think a little bit of panic set in. Because like you said, they really weren't expecting, all the talk coming into this game, from their side, from all over social media, we all saw it, we all heard it. They expected Northwestern to come in there and do what they did last year. And, that first quarter when it was like, oh, wait, hold up a second. Are we no bombs away today. What are we going to do? It was definitely different. So I don't know if the entire team panicked. I can definitely tell, the game plan that they thought they were going to execute going into that game, talking about Miami Northwestern, Reigns shut that down pretty quick. And so I don't know if it's panic. It's just a matter of maybe some lack of adjusting, which worked out in our favor, obviously.
Special shout out to the NFHS Network for their work last week in that production. It was, the different angles we got of that game. Really kind of it made you feel like you were getting a good eye of what's going on inside the stadium. And Brody, we were watching that game. We were texting back and forth throughout, but you just look back at that entire game and just the emotional roller coaster, but the adversity that Reigns had to face in that game. It seemed like anything that could go against them kind of seemed to go that way, and they just fought through it.
Yeah, reffing was not up to par in my opinion. But there's some plays there that I feel like they're being a little one-sided. But as a football team, you can't control what the refs do. You got to control the controllables, and it seemed like Reigns did a really good job of doing that. And there was so many. It was just a flooded adversity game. Just so much moments in the game where it's a big moment, and it's just momentum swinging both ways throughout the whole game. And it was just so impressive for them to come out with the win. It felt like to me that Miami Northwestern, that they were kind of like the Goliath in the situation, the big dog that that hasn't been knocked off in a while. And I just think Reigns just had the bigger chip on their shoulder. They had the bigger motivation to go win the game, and I feel like it showed as a result of the game.
Marcel, you've been covering high school football and sports in the area now for a little while. When you look back at this season for Raines, is there any team, anything that reminds you of, or is this something that is different?
I mean, I think every year, obviously, each team is different. I think this year, it was just a matter of, like, they were on a mission, and I think that, it's one of those instances where, because of what happened last year in the state championship, you try not to revel in those types of things, but, obviously, they had a point to prove. Like, what happened last year was not a reflection of who they felt like they were as a team. And, they were determined from the jump. It was really one of those cases where, everyone says, ignore the outside noise and all of that. But I think in this case, the outside noise probably, didn't do any favors for everybody that played against Raines. All the people that were coming to say they were spoiling the season were obviously unsuccessful. And I think that, it was just such a laser focus, everyone leading up to this game, no disrespect to any of the opponents that they played. I just feel like, they had their eyes on Miami Northwestern in August. And we all knew from the jump that it was going to be Raines, it was going to be Miami Northwestern in the state championship, and all they had to do was just take care of business, keep the main thing the main thing. And it was truly just enjoyable to watch, just because it's like, there was a lot of kind of back and forth and everything like that, but you could tell that the focus was there. Like there was no other outcome that was going to be acceptable. Like you get to that game and you could tell from these guys that they were willing to die out there on the field to get this done. And it's truly great to see because everybody make plays. It was a total team effort, and this kind of goes back to what Brody was talking about. The adversity. When adversity hits, that's really when you find out what type of team you're made of. That's when you find out who you are. And I think, which I'm sure you guys are going to talk about, the halftime, we'll call it a conversation.
Yeah.
But I think, and I said the same thing at halftime, they didn't play up to their standard. It was a 3-0 game.
Yeah.
No one's holding Miami Northwestern to 3-0 at halftime, throughout the rest of the season. But even then still, they could have easily been a 21-3 game going into halftime, and knowing that they didn't play up to their standard, knowing that they come out and they do play to their standard, that then the result's going to be what it was.
A couple things I can build off that. We had guys in studio last week. We had TJ Cole and Tony Williams in here talking about the matchup going into it, and you can just tell from these guys just how locked in they were, and they let it be known it is not going to be the same thing this time around. This team had been locked in all season long. And just the way, like you mentioned, the noise surrounding this team. I don't think there's many high school teams in the country that dealt with as many comments, as many videos, as anything like these kids. Every single week there was something new, and they handled it. They responded to it. And the other thing is, you look at this team and just their utter dominance this season, you wondered how are they going to be able to handle it when eventually that kind of adversity strikes in a game. And man, they responded. They handled it perfectly.
Yeah. Well, game it and play it on Instagram. So,
yeah.
You could talk and say all you want to do, but once you get in between them white lines, comments and likes and engagements don't matter. It's strap it up and let's go. Let's go to work. And I think all these fellows over here can agree. Those that invest the most are the last to surrender. And clearly they invested the most, and that's why they're walking around with these loud medals around their necks.
Yeah, and a few stats to pull from just how impressive the season was for them. Outscored their opponents 680-91 this season, and it ranked the 24th team in the country by Max Preps as a public school here in Jacksonville, Florida. First undefeated season since 1997 for Raines, and the fourth state title in school history. And to talk about it, we've got Troy Butler and Jatarius Brown coming up next on the Blitz Breakdown.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt. And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
One thing I noticed is that when Chuck joined me, he challenged me.
You're going to be late.
Not as late as you. It's a natural thing between brothers, pushing each other.
Hey, it's one-upmanship. It's good for us, and it's good for our clients.
It doesn't get more fairer than that.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blitz Breakdown and the Reigns State Championship Special. We're joined now by Troy Butler and Jatarius Brown. Man, what a game, what a win. What's it been like getting back here to Jacksonville after that?
It's been amazing, man. You know, coming back to the city and seeing everybody at 3663, you know, it was a great welcome home. It felt wonderful knowing that we were state champs, put on for the city, and everybody was out there supporting us.
Have you guys been getting a little less homework these past couple weeks? Anything to help you out?
Yes, sir. Film. Like,
let's talk about your preparation last week and just what that was like. Monday through Friday, just getting ready for that game. What did last week look like for you guys?
we watched a lot of film, practiced hard, went against each other. It was just like we had to beat them because last year we waited a whole year for this, so we just had to do what we had to do and get the dub.
Jatarius, how did last week's practice compare to the rest of the season?
Last week practice was pretty intense. You know, emotions was everywhere, all over the place, because you know we knew how it went last year, and we didn't want it to end the same way. So everybody came on the field with intensity. You know, everybody was moving around fast. Everybody had the mentality that we wanted to win, and we watched a lot of film. Came on the field, went against each other with passion, and it took it to the field.
What were the nerves like going into that game for you guys?
A little nervous because we knew what happened last year, so I didn't want it to happen again. So we had to get that taste out of our mouth.
Yeah, it was just a revenge tour thing. Like, I just want to get back. I was ready. Since we beat Book, I was ready.
Because I was wondering, like, it seemed like you guys really bought in on that revenge tour, and you seemed confident going into that game, but at any point was there any doubt for you guys? And how were you able to turn it around?
Nah, I believed in my guys. Like, secondary way better. Like, D-line, we got the best D-line in the state. So we just had to show that on the field.
And you guys, you showed up on the D-line. I want to talk about, you had some big-time plays on the goal line, and that was defense as a unit, but you guys stopped a huge two-point conversion from the half-yard line. You guys seemed to make plays. You slowed down their run game incredible. Like, there wasn't much going on there. How is that a reflection of your group and your work this season?
Coach put us through a lot, taking laps, going against each other, working on standing our gap, squeezing down to the line. So all what came into practice came into play in the game when it came to sitting in your gap, not getting flushed down the line, and making good goal line stops.
And to be a good D-line, I feel like you guys, you got to be a unit. So how did you guys build that throughout the year?
Just it started in practice and weightlifting and stuff. Like, we hold each other to a point we got to have. Like, shout out to Coach Maji and stuff coming to help us and stuff get to where we wanted to go.
Talk about you guys' energy as a whole defense. You guys play with a lot of energy, and it's really fun to watch. Just talk about where that stems from.
It really stems from Shareef Jackson. Coming in with that energy and that fight. That kid has a different type of passion for the game, and I love that for him. Bring it back to Reigns, because that's where his home is. So bring it back to us, putting it in us. We believe in him, he believes in us, and it just spreads around the whole team.
And Shareef Jackson, I want to talk about that halftime speech. Just going viral today. Tony mentioned it last week because, Brody, you asked that question about energy, and we heard Shareef Jackson.
Yeah.
We saw it. We all got to see it now today, but what did that halftime speech do to you guys, and what's Shareef done for you all season?
He stepped up. Like, I needed him. We needed him. He came through. Give me that phone. Hey, you're going overly viral. I hate him right now, though.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. How do you guys feel like that really just flipped the switch in the halftime and approaching the second half in a different manner?
It got all of us ready, because that's him on and off the field. Even in practice, he does that on a daily basis. So once he says something, it just puts something in us like, oh yeah, it's go time. We got to do it for our brother.
Yeah, and what I love about that speech is, some teams, maybe teams that aren't really playoff caliber teams, when they have a player just, chewing out the team like that, instilling some energy, sometimes some people won't respond to it well, but you guys respond to that great. Talk about the respect you have for Shareef Jackson as a player.
I love that guy, man. Big cousin. What? Dang, you have to take my phone.
Jatarius, we got one of the greatest big man picks of all time here in Reigns history. You go 4th down, big spot of the game, 4th down and 1. They decide to go for it on their own side of the field. Walk me through that play, getting that pick.
I looked at down and distance play a big part in the game. So I seen it was 4th and 1 once we got the call, and it wasn't no slant call. I seen they came into condensed formation. They like to do a lot of mesh concepts. So I took on double team. Once I seen the running back step up and not get the ball, I just went and jumped the ball and made a play.
That happened quick too. It was a quick release, and you were just right there. You were ready for it, and
yes, sir.
That stems from the film prep, I gotta imagine too, right?
Yeah, film. I studied on film heavy. Film first drop right after the boogie game. I was on it till 3 o'clock in the morning. Looking at it was 2 plays that I knew I was gonna possibly catch a pick on. That's that and the play I caught a pick on and the screenplay. So I watched those heavy.
What was your job on that play? Because you kind of ran around to the ball. Was that just a playmaker making a play, or was that the call for you?
No, that was a playmaker making a play. My job was to stay in the gap, take on double team and stay in the A gap. But once I seen the running back didn't get the ball and it was a pass, I just trust my instincts and went.
That is one of the best playmakers making a play I've ever seen. You just kind of disabandoned your gap and ran all the way over there and made the pick. Talk about how that changed the momentum for you guys in the game.
I feel like me catching that pick, putting the offense back on the field, getting the crowd hype. They came out there like, oh, we got to score. So once TJ came on the field, he told me, he was like, I got you, brother. And it was no doubt that he wasn't going to score and win the game for us. So I believe in him. He believed in me, and he made the plays happen.
I love it. One of those plays where the coaches are on the sideline. No, yes, yes. And then just the celebration after the game. After you guys get that touchdown, the Hail Mary, that was a bit of like a hard drop. I was like, oh, he's got some space after there, but they tip it down. Just the reaction, celebration after the game, what was that like?
It felt great. Like, it didn't even feel real. Like, we just won state. Got everybody happy. It's just like a great feeling to have.
It was an out-of-body experience. Like, once I seen the ball touch down, it's like we really just won. So it was a lot of emotions coming, knowing like we did it for the city, we did it for us, we did it for our coach, all the hard work we put in. So I took a knee and tears just started falling from my eyes. So it just felt amazing.
And how about that support from your fans, filling up that side of the stadium all the way down in Miami?
Viking Nation, man. You know, Viking Nation gonna support us wherever we go. They're gonna come travel. They're gonna be loud. You know, they're gonna bring that Duval to wherever we go.
And last thing I got for you, Troy, you're returning next year, and we got a lot of seniors here today. You're gonna be on that squad next year. What are you gonna carry into that group from this season?
Discipline, being a leader, like Shareef, taking people's phones in the locker room when games get serious. We trying to go back to back, so ain't no slack, and we just got to work harder.
Troy Butler going to carry on the legacy of Shareef Jackson at Range this year, and we've got Shareef joining us with Tony Williams when we come back on the Blitz Breakdown.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder-grade materials. And there's more, and for that, we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game, too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts.
Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The thrill of winning never gets old.
But at Farah & Farah, it's not just about us. It's the thrill of fighting for our clients.
That's what drives us.
We've seen big insurance underpay car crash claims or flat out deny them.
It's sad to say, but it's true.
That's why we're so relentless, to get our clients every dollar they deserve.
It doesn't get more fairer than that.
Welcome back to the Reigns State Championship Special. We had Coach Masline arrive during the break, and we've got Shareef Jackson holding the trophy. You want to hold that up here for camera, everyone to see? You said Coach Masline hasn't let go of that since the game ended.
Absolutely not. I think he might have slept with it. I don't know.
Is that your first time getting to hold the trophy?
Yes. I just had the pit rally. I just hold it.
You might. I think that might actually be blocking the view of the camera. No. Oh, we're good. Yeah, we
just keep holding it,
man. Just keep right there where it's natural. Tony Williams, Shareef Jackson with us now. You guys coming off of that win over Miami Northwestern. Been talking about it, going over it all. But we got the man himself to talk about the halftime speech. Sick and tired of it, but
I promise.
never gonna leave you. Talk about that moment and what went into it.
As I've been around Reigns for a long time, so I pretty much know the standard of the program. And even though we were down 3-0, it kind of felt like we were down like 21-0. So I just want to let offense and defense know like we gotta have each other back in these moments like right here. Coach Mash, he prepares us for these moments. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The mental things that I just wanted to let them know like they're not better than us. So we just gotta come out and dominate.
Tony, how about for you there? You were right next to him in that meeting. Did that shift the energy for you guys in the game?
I want to say most definitely. I mean, it's a tough love aspect. So we got to hold each other accountable, as everyone says. So holding each other accountable to a higher standard is gonna make everybody play better. I mean, when you see 1 and 2, I mean, I just seen him going also. I got to jump in and say a little something, but yeah.
You had a sack in the game, right? And then
yes,
Shareef, you had that big goal line fumble. That was crazy play. You get the ball coming down to, I mean, you probably knocked that out on the half-yard line at the very last second.
Yeah.
Talk about that play and what you saw there.
Number 2 from Miami Northwestern, Nicholas Lanier, he was giving me a release, and I just wanted to make sure that before I let him go, it was a pass or a run. So once I seen that he declared that he's not running anything, our TTO pursuit to the ball, and I just wanted it more. So I seen the running back try to hold the ball out, and I knocked it out.
And you may not be the biggest guy on that defense, but what a hit you laid there.
Yeah, no, I fear nobody, so pretty much. I got that dog mentality. Anybody, anywhere, anytime, I'm willing to lay my body on the line for my team, my brothers.
Tony, the resilience of your defense was incredible in that game. They kind of get down on the goal line, and you guys would always make a play. How were you able to pull that off?
Oh, well, it happens in practice on goal line situation. Coach Maz, every practice we go through a situation, whether it's 3rd and long, 3rd and short, on 4th and goal. And even in practice, like, we step up pretty big. I mean, even if we give up something, like, we gonna correct it right then and there. But I felt like everyone, I mean, we had mistakes, but just like us, like the effort and the energy made up for all the mistakes. So yes, sir.
Shareef, the first Reigns game I watched in person, other than the Trinity Reigns game, first game I watched in person was the Booker game, and the first thing I noticed is, I keep harping on the energy for you guys play, but, it stems from you. And I've noticed, 2 is just wild. And, every time there's a play your side, you're letting that receiver know it on the whole walk back. Yeah. You just play with so much energy. Where does it stem from for you?
It pretty much stems from my childhood. I just wake up every day, just think about my mother and, how I could change her life. And I just know that football, it's a way. I tell a lot of kids, whatever you can do, it's football. Football is a way. It's a way through life, Even if it's outside of football teaches a lot of things. So every chance I get on step on the field, I'm giving everything I got because you never know it'll be your last chance. So, coaches, they give me assignments, and, I never let them down. I always let them know, you give me an assignment for the team, whatever benefits the team, I would do whatever. I'm just one of them type of players that just, willing to do anything to benefit my team.
That makes me think here, and this question I'd love for both of you guys to answer, but just what have you learned from being a part of this team, and what has it meant to you this season?
You can never give up. A lot of us, we had personal battles going on throughout the season. But we just kept fighting. Everybody have their story. Like Coach Maz always say, plenty people, a lot of people that go through some things that they don't speak about, that they come every day in practice and just, when we get out there, you just zone out and just have fun. And that way I try to tell them, like, every day, just have fun. Don't get so tense in the moment, because everybody wanted the Miami Northwestern and Reigns going to be just big old Super Bowl. I told them it's another game, just look at another game. So every time we come out of practice, it's another practice. Every day I just tell them, like, it's just another day. Just, God bless us with another day. Take advantage of it.
For you, Tony, building off of that, just being together, what does that do for you guys throughout the season?
It builds a bond, like an unbreakable bond, because, us being with each other all the time, 24/7, like, I can literally tell you everything one of them going to say word for word. And, like, yeah, it definitely helped us in the long run, because, like I said, that bond, but even whenever we get done doing drills, our Coach Butler, our defense coordinator, he tells the whole defense stay together, because we're going to need each other for moments like that. And it came down to a moment, all them goal line stands in 4th and 1. So, yes, sir.
These types of teams, you guys are like a family. And sometime down the road here, we're going to have a 10, 20-year reunion of the state championship team from 2025. When you guys all get together, what do you think you guys, maybe outside of the state, win the final play, what are you guys going to talk about and remember from this season?
Give me that phone, Troy.
Definitely give me that phone. It's the stuff y'all don't see behind the scenes. So, that's whether us getting in trouble with Coach Maz, the team fights and stuff like that. Just the stuff y'all doesn't see that just built us, made us closer. Because if you fight bad and I fight bad, that gives me some respect. Like, you willing to fight for me, I'm willing to fight for you. So, when the reunion comes one day, it's just a lot of things we're going to joke about. Might even talk about days that Coach Maz was spazzing. It's just a lot of stuff, Coach Butler, all of us. So, it's going to be a beautiful thing once we redo our reunion.
Tony, the offense there in the fourth quarter, they really got it going. What was the feeling on the sideline watching them go at it and drive down the field to come back in that game?
Yeah, well, I already pretty much know once we got that 4th and 1 start offense, we're going to punch it in. Because like G said, TJ said, he got us. So, I'm taking his word for his word. He pulled the ball and he scored. So from that point on, I already knew it was a ball game.
And you stuck together through it all. It seems like that speaks a lot to the trust in your team. And at what moment, it seemed like you guys were, confident throughout, but at what moment in the game was it like, yeah, we're winning this game?
I probably say, for me, I would say when I went down, just the looking at my teammate eyes, definitely DB is like, okay, it's my time. Shareef is down. I got to step up and play ball. And then I seen GB step up and just become one of the most superstar moment you can ever do. And then once TJ, he got that fire in him, he got going, I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, we actually about to do history. That was just a beautiful thing to see. And that right there told me everything I need to know.
Tony, what about for you? What moment in the game did you feel like you guys were taking it home?
This ain't got nothing to do with the game, but whenever we was on the bus, we had the bus rocking. I'm talking about we on the bus, everybody out there singing, everybody bouncing like this, headphones down. So I'm like, oh yeah, I already know. I already know. Well, everybody's preparing for battle. I'm preparing for battle. I already knew it was over from that point.
How about the bus energy when you guys arrived back on Moncrief? How about that? What was that energy like?
Oh yeah, it was surreal atmosphere, But like I said, the bus was hot, so I was over there sweating, trying to look out the window. Everybody's screaming, "Let's get on, get on, get off!" And I'm just sweating.
What was the first song you guys played when you got back on the bus after the win?
I don't even think we played a song. We were just so lost in the
moment.
Was
just screaming,
we
belt
were just
the body.
Screaming, belt the body. Just mocking Miami, as you should. I don't think we played a song. We just had fun, one last time with your brothers.
And then that bus ride home, it was hot, but outside of that, what was it like for you guys?
I was happy because I got some wings and things for Zaxby. So.
I ain't really. Yeah, I just, kind of sat my thoughts like, this is it, We went on in history. We did something that I don't think will ever be done again. As far as Reigns would do it again, but I don't think no other school will ever do it again. But, it was just a beautiful thing to realize what we had accomplished.
You guys are both seniors, and you both go out on top of the mountain with a state championship. What does that mean to you?
It's a big accomplishment just to know, from my time from Little League to now, all the losses, all the wins, all the championships, all the championship losses. And, just to end my chapter on a good note, No, it feels great.
It feels amazing. Definitely with the kids that I grew up with GB, TJ, Zion, Eddie, Chuck. All the kids I pretty much grew up with my whole life. It felt great to go out with a bang for your last one because I know I've been through a lot through life. And to go out like that, finish like that with the school I've been around for like 15 years, it's a beautiful thing because, as I say a lot, my brother's state champ, he won in 17. So, it's no more battle in the house. It's a fair game now. So it was a beautiful thing.
Congratulations, you guys, on a great season, going out with that state championship. TJ Cole and Coach Masline joining us next after this break.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
TJ, who is your competition?
I'm my only competition.
Who your competition?
I'm my only competition.
Who your competition?
Like I said, I'm my only competition.
Killer mentality since day one for TJ Cole. Coach Masline,
Crazy.
TJ Cole with us now. Coach, talk about that video and just how it reflects TJ and his mentality today.
Oh, man, it's funny. That's fun. I mean, we all have kind of crazy videos as young kids that you know you just in your moment, your element, and you know he's the ultimate competitor, and you know that's what he took on, you know, to this point in his life, and I'm pretty sure he'll continue it.
You know, we can sort of see TJ around the trophy here, but you know what? His only competition, and it comes away with the trophy, his senior year. TJ, you came into this program last season. How have you grown in this team, your relationship with Coach Masline and your receivers to get to this point?
Yeah, just the expectations they set for me. You know, the moment I walked in there, you know, they wanted me to be that leader. They wanted me to be that guy to come in and set the tone for practices and set the tone for games. So, you know, I just believe that they trusted me the moment I stepped in at range. So, just to bring my leadership. I've grown as a person on and off the field. Just my leadership skills. Just going out there and being myself. Like Coach Mass said at halftime. The first half is over. Go out there and be yourself. So, just that type of mentality that Coach Mass has brought out of me, and it's just been amazing.
Coach, there's a lot of guys that stand out on this team, but it seems like over the past couple of years, TJ's the guy that he's the quarterback. At what moment was it that you could kind of see, yeah, this kid's special?
When he was 8th grade at Springfield. Well, Reebok Middle, I'm sorry. Reebok Middle. And he was at Reebok Middle. And, just watching him play, just watching him play, in middle school, I knew, that he would be special. He can, get the guys around him to play at a certain level with a certain intensity. And it just carried over, man. As a 9th grader, he scared me for a little bit, almost, beat us, but we was able to pull it through in the end. And, ultimately just coming over and just buying into what we were trying to do, in the program. And, it was a great maturation, great relationship. He fit what we needed, and, we gave him what he needed to be successful and ultimately, do some great things on the field.
You're a Reigns alumni. You've been a part of this program for a long time. To bring home a state championship this year, just what feelings did that evoke for you?
Oh, man, you just don't understand. Man, it's surreal. Like, a lot of people don't get an opportunity to go to your high school, play, go off to college, come back, ultimately become a head coach and then help bring a championship back. So, man, it's a humbling experience. It's something that I dreamed about for a long time. Like when I was, I think, 10th grade, I made up in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna be a coach. I want to come back to Reigns. I want to coach. And, I didn't expect it to happen. I'm not gonna lie, I did. I expected it to happen this fast. I didn't want to be one of those coaches that it takes 20 years to, do something great. We had a great group of young men, come together for one mission, and they accomplished it. And they're history makers. They're legends in my eyes. They're goated. They're at GOAT status.
They're going to be remembered for a long time in this area. And we talk about this team. I know you guys probably don't like talking about last year, but it's a big part of this team's story. The revenge tour was built on last season's loss. What moment after that game, was there a certain conversation that really got that going? What had maybe the most impact for you after that game?
Yeah, after the game last, Coach Mass had done called us like one by one, I believe. He called us one by one. Yeah, he had done called us one by one. And he was just asking us, like, I'm pretty sure he asked everybody the same thing he asked me, what do we have to do to get back to that stage where we were last year, and, like, what can we do better? And, I feel like all of the leaders that we have this year, that he called in that room last year, like, they stood up, they told him what we needed to do and how we needed to do it, and I believe that's the result we got this year. So I believe everything that we said in that office, we came out there and did, or we came out here and did this year, added some guys like Shareef Jackson, his leadership. It played a big part in his defense this year. Once he was flying around, they all flying around. Vice versa. Like once they flying around, he's flying around. So just the mindset that we have, and just the group of leaders that we had that came back from last year's team, that felt that 41-0 loss last year in the state championship game. It just kept a chip on our shoulder. So we just wanted to feel the way how to win. We knew what it felt like to lose. We just wanted to feel what it felt like, how to win that game. So, like I said, it's just the leaders that we have, and it was just a great group of guys.
Coach, how did you kind of process that game last year, and what led you to go talk to all your leaders on the team and get that feedback for this year?
Ultimately, I just knew that we were a lot better than what we did. It was a big stage. It was a big moment that the kids, I thought were prepared. Going into halftime, 14 14, which, could have been different. We score on the goal line. We score on a post route. The game is a little bit different. The momentum has shifted, and the kids are, playing highly confident. And, when, I think it was the third quarter, first series, one of my coaches always told me the first series of the third quarter pretty much determines like what happens for the entirety of the game and how the game would go. So, I'm always big on coming out of halftime, whether we got the ball or whether we're on defense, just coming out and making plays. And, we didn't make the play, and I think that's when the momentum shifted. But, it was our foundation for, the next year, which is, where we at now. And, at first I did not know this was a revenge tour. It kind of got thrown on me. I seen it on a post or something like that, and I was like, well, they want to do it, then I'm gonna back them up. I'm gonna be behind them, support them, and this is their team. I'm just a guy that manage it, and they make all of the decisions, a lot of the decisions. What uniform they wearing. I ask them about what they want to eat, things like that. So they have some type of input and ownership of the team. And I'm not one of those micromanage people. And, I let them have some freedom to do things, the cleats, you can wear different colored cleats and all of that stuff. So, as long as we kind of a little uniform, I like kids to be play free and play with swag. So,
hey, you can even go out there and, go away from your assignment and pick off a pass on fourth down,
Yeah, I think we drew it up that way.
Really?
Well, last year, you were just talking about it, down 14-0 at half, and then the rest of the game just didn't turn out to be what you wanted it to be. But this year, what was the difference for your halftime adjustments going into the third quarter?
Wow, because usually when we go into halftime, I talk to the kids by myself. I don't know, that Friday was a little bit different. I was talking to the coaches outside first, and when I went to go talk to the players, they were like, well, Shareef is in there talking. So I was like, oh, okay, and I stepped back for a little bit. But mainly, we kind of got stagnant offensively, not taking the check downs in the passing game, and, to keep the chains moving and just kind of keeping the drives going. I think in the second quarter, we figured out that we can run the ball very well. So that's one of the things that we want to come back and do. We noticed that they got very fatigued with our tempo in the second quarter, and the kids fed off of it, and we used that in the second half, in the last 2 minutes of the game. Defensively, continuing not to give up the big play over the top, and continue to get pressure on the quarterback with some simulated pressures and stuff like that, and then knowing when we can just rush forward and let our coverage on the back end play. And I thought they did a pretty good job of just staying true to it. It's always the next play, and continuing to fight until it's 4 zeros on the clock.
TJ, he was talking a lot about giving you guys the freedoms to let Shareef Jackson finish his speech at half, and whether it's that or letting y'all wear purple cleats in the game, whatever it is. How much does that mean to you guys as players?
It means a lot, just to have that type of coach that let us go out there and play with freedom and play with that swag. It just means a lot. It gives your leaders and your team a lot of confidence. To go out there and play some quality football. I think we feed off of that. And we just go out there and play the best football that we can play.
You go into that third quarter and you guys hadn't put up any points yet on offense. You'd gotten a couple passes picked off. How were you able to bounce back from that at that point of the game and make those plays you did down the stretch?
Yeah, like you said, we saw a couple of things that could work. We stayed true to our run game. We stayed true to our tempo. And we knew that if we tempoed, that they were going to be tired. So, we kept our tempo going. And we just relied on each other. We trusted each other to make plays. We trusted the O-line to come up with those big blocks, and we trusted our receivers, and we executed.
Coach, we had seen your Trinity game, and you guys were tempo almost that entire game, I think. And we've seen you guys play at different tempos all season. You'll go slow, you'll go fast, and the guys execute no matter what. How are you able to instill that kind of discipline in your unit?
Man, it doesn't happen overnight. You just have to have a lot of adults around the young men, buying into what we want to do, and then ultimately getting the kids to buy into what we're trying to do. When you have a lot of athletes in different areas, you want to make sure that you can get the ball out quick, to get them in space, and so that they can make plays. And then we know when teams can't line up, that's when people make mistakes. And then in the Trinity game, you can see when we lined up fast, we went stack formations and scored on the same play twice. That's just all tempo. They don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to line up wrong. But, because it's going so fast, you're not able to get the perfect call in defensively. So it worked well in our favor. And, we used it all night and all season and put up good numbers.
There were a lot of big plays in that fourth quarter, but outside of that final game-winning touchdown pass, and what I really want to talk about is that 4th and 10 conversion. Yeah. You checked it down there, and it was. I was like, "Oh man, is he gonna have enough to get that?" And sure enough, Tadarius was able to get that first down by a yard. Was that by design, the check down, or is?
Yeah, it was just what I saw. Early in the game, we missed a lot. Like you said, we missed a lot of check downs earlier in the game. So, if I get the ball to Zach in space, we trust him to go get those 10 yards. So pretty much. We knew we were expecting a blitz, to be honest. We were expecting a blitz, and we got what we wanted. We didn't see a blitz, so everybody fled. They got out the way. Everybody they dropped back out of the box, and Zach just popped wide open. So we had that trust in him to go get those 10 yards, and that's what he did.
Coach, when you saw that and you saw him, did that kind of like slow down for you a little bit when he's got to go get that first down? What was that like?
Well. It was a trips formation. We wanted to do a clear out and run a dig behind the clear outs, and at the about 12 yards, from the line of scrimmage, so that we can make sure that we have the first down. And when I seen him go up the seam, I was like, well, TJ must have told him to just go up the seam, because we talked about it in film. We talked about it in film. I believe that was Wednesday. We talked about the running back going up the seam on some angle routes because we knew the side of the line that they wanted to blitz from. But when they dropped out and I seen, Tadarius running up the seam, I was like, I know TJ checked it. And, like he say, when he get in space, it's hard to bring him down just with one man. And, he's a very tough guy to tackle. And I had no doubt that he would be able to get it.
Talk about the game-winning touchdown. What were you seeing? What made you go with that play to roll out TJ Wright and throw it back to the halfback? What did you see there to call that play?
They haven't covered the back all night. They haven't covered the back all night. We kept binging the back out, until the flats, and they just fled the zones and vacated the zones rather. And so we was like, well, what about the 91 loop Florida with all wheel? And we was like, well, let's do it. They gonna flow with the rollout, which a lot of teams always do. He called it actually earlier on
early in the drive
on that drive that Kyron dropped on the sideline. It was the same play, but the back didn't go out on the wheel, so we called it again. And Nick kind of went with Ethan on the post, on the over route, and there was enough room for, Tadarius to leak out. And, it was smart on their part to tell him, not to go so fast, because he'd get the attention of the defenders if he went fast. It was the perfect tempo, the perfect speed, the perfect ball placement. When he caught it, I was actually shocked that he caught it. It was like I had a little window that I could see it, but when he caught it, once he caught it, I knew he was going to get in the end zone, especially when, Nick missed the tackle. I was like, well, he's not going to be denied to get in the end zone, because that's one thing we talked about, not being denied being the champion. So, it was phenomenal just to be able to experience it and see it, and, to see the happiness on their faces that, they accomplished something that they set out to do 365 days ago.
And TJ, I mentioned earlier this year on the show, we've never seen Reigns, go for a game-winning drive and put one together. I've never seen you do it. I know it feels great as a team. How does it feel for you to put together the game-winning drive to win the state championship?
It feels amazing. What better opportunity was it to be in the state championship? I know y'all done seen the videos. Me and Coach Maz done talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I was like, Coach, I ain't had a chance to go out there and win the game. So, just to have that moment and that opportunity to do it in the state championship game, it means a lot. I ain't never did it. So just to do it for my first time in the state championship game, and it feels good.
I don't think you could have scripted it any better. Like that entire game, it's exactly what you dream about as a kid, throwing up a pass in the backyard to win the state championship.
Yeah.
And, after it's all said and done, you guys knocked down the Hail Mary, you're state champions. Who's the first person you called after that game?
Oh, man. The first person I called, I can't remember. I know I had about close to 500 text messages after the game.
How about for you, TJ? Is there anyone that you had to talk to?
I think it was my big brother Pat Bryant, played for the Broncos. He had done made a deal with me, and I said, "Yeah, bet we're gonna go win it." So we won it. Made that deal. As soon as I got on the bus, I called him. He was like, "Yo!" So it was crazy. I had I had a lot of text messages. My phone was going crazy. I think I went from like 900 or 9,600 followers to like 10.4K in like 2 hours. So it's crazy. Like my phone is probably still going crazy right now.
Juice.
I'm sorry, I feel like I interrupted you there, Coach. But is there anyone that you talked to that has kind of meant a lot to you throughout this journey that came full circle a bit?
Like my parents, afterwards that was cool. My dad, he's been following me with football since I was 9, and we've had some great moments, and as a player, I was able to win the Magic City Classic and get the MVP trophy in that game as a junior, and what my dad had went through around that time, and he was still able to make the game. He wasn't gonna miss it, and this me becoming a head coach is something big for him, and just to be able to make him proud that's something that stuck with me. But just seeing the kids, man, that was crazy. That was crazy. Kids running, throwing helmets.
Throwing shoulder
pads. Shoulder pads and jerseys in the stands. If this gets out to anybody, please, return number 4 jersey to Reigns. We definitely need it. But overall, man, it was just good to see, the kids, just to join their faces. We know how we came back to the hotel last year, and it was totally different this year, so it was great.
Last thing I got for you guys to wrap up the show. When people look back on this season for Reigns football, they look back on this team, what do you think they're going to remember about this group and maybe the characteristic that defines them?
Togetherness, commitment to excellence on and off the field. This group right here, man, all of my seniors are graduation ready, and that was before the season even started. All of them are, academically talented, but then just the passion that they played with, the violence that they played with, physicality that they played with. And I always tell them, when you turn the film on, they need to know your story. Like, they need to be able to see your passion, your commitment, your dedication. And I'm 100% sure that, the world knows, how passionate these young men are about football, how passionate they are about each other, and, how passionate they are about, striving to be great young men, in society.
TJ, you've been our most common guest on the show this year, your third appearance. For one last message to our audience, what would it be after this season?
When you say like after this year, like what you mean?
Yeah, the high school football season's coming to a close. What's your final message to everybody?
Hey, we state champs. That's pretty much all that was written to be. It was written to be that since last season. That's where we wanted it to be, and I just feel like we came out, we did what we needed to do. We marked this season as our revenge tour, and I feel like everybody bought into that. I feel like everybody was committed to that. Like Coach Matt said, we wasn't just committed on the field. We was committed in the classroom, and we was dedicated. I believe, like you said, everybody was graduation ready at the beginning of the season. So, just to come out with that commitment and that passion for the game and being in the classroom, it's just great. I love these guys, and, we go off to our separate destinations. I'm pretty sure everybody gonna do their thing. So, I love them guys. We love Coach Mass, love the coaching staff. It's been a crazy journey. So I appreciate all of them for that.
I appreciate you guys all coming by. It was great to talk with everybody, and congratulations on a great season. It's been phenomenal covering, following your journey throughout the year. To everybody who's watched the Blitz Breakdown this year, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all our guests and everyone who made this happen. We'll be back at it next year, so the Reigns Vikings. But until next time, Noah Schlicksup signing off, saying see you next time here on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
Experience is priceless, but there's experience in being a lawyer, and there are life experiences too. You got to have both. There are a lot of good lawyers out there, but the real question is, are they good enough to take time to listen? Are they good enough to treat you with dignity and respect? In other words, are they good enough for you? When we say we're old school, but not old fashioned, we do things in a timeless, classic way that our clients